Hey guys, what's going on? I want to hit you with something that I'm getting a lot of questions about, and it's in regards to negotiation. And I hope that I spelled that right because it's one of those words that when you spell out, it doesn't look right. You don't know why. What are you going to do? So I think it's right though. But negotiation, let's talk about what we're negotiating, how to negotiate, what's negotiable, what's not negotiable. When it comes to real estate investing. Okay, so first off, the property itself, what is negotiable? Now, you probably hear the term a lot that it's a seller's market right now. Now, what does that mean? A seller's market is a market in which the seller has the control. Now, why does the seller have control? Well, because the supply of houses is like this, and the demand for houses is like this. So, because the demand is high and the supply is low, those that have the supply, the sellers, have more leverage because there are more people trying to buy houses than there are houses. So, a lot of times in these negotiations in the current market, it's hard to negotiate and win as a buyer, okay? Because sellers hold all the leverage. Now, 2009 and 2010, following the 2008 real estate crash, the supply of houses was like this and the demand was like this because the market had just crashed. Nobody had faith in the real estate market. They didn't know if it was going to crash again. Builders had been building like craziness because everybody was buying houses. People had multiple houses, so builders were building. Buyers were buying. The market crashes. Now sellers are trying to sell out of their houses. And buyers are like, we don't want them. We don't want the houses. So prices continue to go down. The supply is like this. The demand is like this. And therefore, it's a good market for buyers. Okay, so we're in the polar opposite of that right now, where there is a housing shortage. There's 10 million houses that are needed. There are 10 million buyers right now that are looking for properties that don't exist. So the demand's through the roof and the supply is small. So when it comes to negotiation, it's hard to negotiate victories as a buyer. So what are some of the things we're looking at, okay? Now, I'm gonna speak on investment property, okay? Before COVID, I was a huge purchaser of foreclosures. I'd buy somewhere between 20 and 30 foreclosures per year. What happened with COVID was all the courts shut down, okay? And banks stopped foreclosing on houses. So in order for a foreclosure to go through, it has to go through the court system, it has to go through the banking system, and all that literally hit the skids. So less and less foreclosures were able to hit the market because everything was so slow. Post-COVID, now here we are, and there's still barely any foreclosures out because there's such a backup of foreclosures. So when it came to foreclosures, I used to negotiate all the time. I used to say, this foreclosure's been on the market for 5 weeks. I would call the bank's agent and say, listen, I know that it's costing the bank $1,400 a month in holding costs, because you got to think about it. One, the bank is paying real estate taxes, okay, on properties. So if property's sitting vacant, they're paying real estate taxes, the property taxes. They're also paying unbelievably high vacant property insurance on these properties, okay? Obviously the bank's doing things the right way, so they have a lot of insurance, and it's unbelievably expensive to insure vacant property. So they have these crazy high holding costs. So you have some leverage there. So even though prior to COVID, it wasn't exactly a super great buyer's market, obviously better than it is now, but still, you could still use some leverage in your corner. Now, there's no foreclosures. Things are on the market for 2 days and then they're gone. So how do we find leverage, okay? It's about finding the right sellers. It's about finding sellers that are looking to move into different investments, right? They're trying to sell out, liquidate cash, and move on. Let's look at properties that have been on the market a while. Properties that have been on the market a while are susceptible to offers, right? You might put a property out that might be listed for $100,000. If it doesn't get any takers, in a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, that property is not worth $100,000. I tell my clients all the time, they say, well, Rhett, why am I looking at properties that my budget's $65,000? Why am I looking at properties worth 85 or 90? And I say, well, there are properties that are worth 85, 90,000 because sellers think they're worth 85, 90,000. Guess what it's worth? It's worth what somebody's willing to cut you a check for it. It could be listed for 25 billion. No one's gonna pay that. What's it worth? It doesn't matter what it's listed for. I'll give you an example. I have a client last week who bought a property for $62,000. It was originally listed at $84,000 and it got dropped. They dropped it $20,000. He put in a short offer, boom, got accepted. Because someone was like, okay, it's not worth $85,000. We're gonna drop it $20,000 to $65,000. And then boom, we hit it at the right time. He offered 62 on it. We got the thing sold. Okay, so, because it wasn't worth 85, it was worth 62 because that's what somebody paid for it. All right, so when it comes to negotiation, I always want to start out by finding a property that can be negotiated on. Right? If there's a property one day on the market, we don't have a lot of room for negotiation there because the seller is going to say, listen, this is the list price, we're sticking to this list price. After a week, there might be a little bit of room to negotiate. After 2 weeks, there might be more room. 3 weeks, 4 weeks, 5 weeks. You guys are online, you see property that have been on the market for 100 days, 150 days. Oh, what's wrong with it? Well, nobody's paying what the list price is. Let's lowball it. Throw it a lowball offer. Let's negotiate. The point of a lowball offer, guys, isn't to get that offer accepted. That's wrong, wrong, wrong. The point of a lowball offer is to bring the seller to the table. Let's talk about this. Where are you at? For example, if there's a property listed for $70,000 that's been on the market for 2 months, $70,000 list, we come in at $48,000 on it, it's $22,000 under the asking price, okay? If that seller comes back and says, we'll do 69, move on. If that seller comes back and goes, we'll do 59, then you're in business, okay? Because the lowball offer is just to get somebody to the table, to get it in the ballpark of what we're willing to pay. Now, we don't expect our lowball offers to get accepted, right? But we're not gonna play their game and pay top dollar for a property that's been on the market for 2 months or 3 months, okay? So, when it comes to negotiation, it's important to find the right properties that are negotiable, okay? You're not gonna do yourself any favors by having your real estate agent send out 1 million offers on houses that are just on the market. If you want something and you need to have it right away, you're gonna have to pay a premium for that. If it's fresh on the market and you want it and the list price is $75,000, you better throw out a $75,000 offer or right around it or a little bit under it, but you know, a house comes on the market for 75 and you're offering 55, you're not even probably gonna get a call back. So it's important to find the right property, find negotiable property, and then negotiate. But give a platform to negotiate, right? It's all about meeting in the middle, okay? My clients know we kill people in negotiations. We absolutely kill them. I have 2 clients right now, John and Max, and you guys, as you know, we had an offer, we threw out a lowball offer, and immediately the sellers came down 13%. Immediately. We knew that they were trying to work out a deal. We knew they were motivated sellers. So guys, look at how far they come down on that first counter. That is usually indicative of kind of what their thoughts are on the property. Are they desperate? Are they not desperate? Are they totally fine with selling, with holding and waiting for their price? So there are a lot of things that go into how we negotiate, and there's a lot of little key figures that we can tell. And counter offers are huge with that. Are they coming down 5%, 2%, 3% on their first counter offer, or are they coming down 10%, 15%, 20% to try and meet us in the middle. If we get somebody that's coming down 10, 15% on their first counteroffer, we have it. We're gonna get it for something that works really, really good for us. So keep that in mind. Property negotiation is about not seeming too desperate on the buyer end either. We wanna make sure that the property is, we're getting the property for a price that we want. So how do we do that? We're not over eager. This is not our only offer. We're not putting all our eggs in one basket. We're offering on multiple properties at the same time, and we're gonna be okay if we land every single one of them. Now, what does that do? That makes our negotiation skills stronger because we are turning the game. If my clients are offering on 5 properties at once, they're not dead set on getting that one property. And because of that, we're not overeager on that one. If they say no to us, we have 4 others. And we say that. We say, listen, you guys don't want to budge on your list price, that's okay. We have 4 other properties that we have offers out on that we're getting counters back with. So that's why I love sending out multiple offers. I want to make sure that my clients are good with getting any of them. And same with me. If I offer on 5 properties, I need to be okay if I get any of those 5. Otherwise, we don't offer on one that we're not okay with owning. So we offer on a bunch, we get one, we get really good counters, and we get a really good deal on one, boom, we move forward with that one. And that's how we do it. We're gaining negotiating power, because if someone gives us a crappy counter offer, we might send another counter, but we're not even interested. All of a sudden, they don't hear back from you, and they say, oh, well, actually, we're not hearing from anybody else. We should probably go back to them with a better offer. And then, I can't even tell you guys how many times an agent calls me and goes, hey, Rhett, remember that property we offered on a week ago that they countered and we never responded? Yeah? Well, they just came back to us and they just took $10,000 off the price. Oh, interesting. Interesting how that works when you don't seem too eager. How do you not seem too eager? Divvy out how many properties you're offering on. Be selective at the same time, but send multiple offers out on the properties that you like. How many of you guys, think about it and drop this below, have offered on only one property before? If you've offered on one property before, I want to know about it, drop it in the comments. If you've offered on multiple properties at the same time, I really want to know that. Drop that in the comments below. Otherwise, guys, we'll catch you next time.